Hey,
We live.
Law.
We live. We live.
It's up. We're starting.
Uh, Lawrence EBK Conway. Welcome to the Bully Roundtable, episode 17. I'm your host, Lawrence EBK Conway. Along with my co-host,
Tony Gold from Wayne Gold Kennels.
and of course, as always, we got Damien on the technical. Tonight we
What's
got
up,
Sean
guys?
Matthews hanging out with us. So let's get it popping. Uh, Damien, let me go
Yeah, I'm
promote.
promoting.
If you got
Yep,
any
promoting
topics,
real quick.
always just shoot right away. I'm gonna go ahead and promote the link, and just
Yeah.
give me a second here.
While we promoting, Tony, can you talk about a little bit about what you and John were just talking about why you keep so many pups and stuff like that?
Just because I don't want to have to rely on just one pup. You don't want to put your all your eggs in one basket, man. You can't just you know. For me, I like to keep two of each sex. That way, um, I'm sure to get what I want. A lot of times, all the pups will be nice if you have a strong program. But for me, I'm planning out my breeding, so I already have dogs that I plan on, you know, taking these pups to. But I'm looking for certain traits that my other dogs are lacking. So I want to combine the blood, but I also need certain traits. So that's why you keep them. Just in case, you know, that if you hold one pup and just in case that pup doesn't turn out to have, the traits that you're looking for, you have a better shot with two. So I usually keep two males and two females.
Do you keep them until they fully mature, or just do you think you have a great idea of how they're going to turn out, or do you keep them all the way through? Like if you decide to keep three
I mean,
pups, go ahead.
it all depends. I mean, it all depends how they turn out. Like so, and just because I might have one and I put it for sale, it's not because that's a bad dog. It's because the other pup possesses the traits that I was looking to achieve in the breeding. Other pup might be super nice for somebody else and a great show dog and a good producer also, but I'm looking for a specific type of dog to pair up with something that I already have. So I usually hold on to them. It depends. Sometimes I know by 5 months, 6 months, um, and that's why you may see something for sale to a show home, something like that.
And while Lawrence is still promoting, interesting topic that y'all were talking about in one of the groups, Tony, is pet homing a dog and how it's really hard when you've gotten kind of attached to the dog. Can you kind of
Yeah.
expound on that, you and Sean, if you've ever done it, Sean?
Go ahead,
Um,
Tony.
I mean, I do it all the time, but it is tough. For me, my friends are like, "Oh man, just get you're spending a lot of money feeding the dog stuff. Just get rid of it to anybody." But finding the right home to me is a big deal. I don't want to throw a dog in a home to where not going to get taken care of, or end up in a pound, or get sent back to where I have to go and get the dog back, and that's happened in the past. So um, it's really important. I could very well take one of the dogs and sell it and make money off of it, but I much rather just retire the dog if I'm not using it. Retire the dog and put it in a good home and know that it's loved and taken care of.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I've had a few times where I've had to rehome dogs. Um, I I I look for uh, family oriented people, people that has a lot of love. That I know that they're gonna love the dog unconditionally. They're gonna feed the dog. They're gonna take the dog to the vet if it need be. I don't do too much background checks, but I try to find people that have been on their job uh, for quite a bit of time, so I know that finances is going to be there for the dog for whatever reasons. Um, I just try to look for people that I more so can relate to, not more so on personal issues, you know, because everybody go
All
through
right.
them, but just more
Hey,
so
Sean.
for the
Sean.
dog's sake. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know if everybody else can hear you, but you sound real low over here, and the way you sitting, the light behind your head like that, all we can see is a black silhouette. So if you want to move somewhere, we can see your face.
All right, give me a second. All right.
It's coming through loud and clear over here, but I have my volume super, super high.
Yeah, I'm not the barely hear. Um, I got a couple questions that came in too. But
Guacamole, you got like guacamole on there? Yeah, fresh.
so yeah, man, we got mute tone. All right. Yeah, that's better. Well, that was better. Yeah, that's better where you at. A little bit. Okay. You can go ahead and keep on continue. So I just wanted to make sure everybody can hear you and see you.
Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
All right. So I just look for people that's that's gonna be down to earth and that's gonna take care of the dog. You know, it's all about the dogs. You know, I don't want to compare the two, but I want to just give people just a similar what I'm saying. It's like if you got a situation in the family where one of the nieces or nephews had to be rehomed. You know what I mean? They're gonna put the child with the most suitable individual. So please, when I say this, I'm not comparing a dog to a human. I'm not comparing a child to a dog, but just saying like it's that same scenario. You know, I just want to place the dog with a suitable home. That's all.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
For some reason I can't. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for some reason on my screen it keeps saying you're already in a call, but my screen is real dim.
Who, me?
Hey, we can see and hear you.
For me, when I hit OK, it takes me off of the screen.
You want to go out and come back in? Hey, we can see and hear you though.
I can't see anybody though.
So go out the call and come back in.
I can see you, Tony. I can see Lawrence.
He said he can't see us. Just go out the call and come back in. I got a question that came in from Travis Foreman. Shout out Travis Foreman. I don't know if you're watching yet. He asked about C-sections and timing and stuff like that. If you're gonna do a C-section, you gotta be real on point with when you did your breeding. If you want to schedule a C-section, because you don't want to schedule it too early and you don't want to schedule it too late, but you want to make sure you keep track of your dates real close, so you can schedule your C-section. As long as it's past 57 days, you can pull them out. So I mean, depending on how many breedings you did, you want to go in between your first breeding and your last breeding, and make sure you pass 57 days on both ends. And then if you want to schedule, you can schedule it. If you got any more questions about that, or if I'm leaving anything out, Tom, touch on that.
I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I guess I'll answer since you guys can see me. Basically, you touched on it. You want to keep track. You don't want to do with C-sections. If you do your breedings, most of us do AIs. You know, even if you're doing natural ties, you don't want to do a whole lot of breedings. You want to do like 3. You know, try to do your progesterone testing. That way, you know you're accurate, and that way, like Lawrence said, you can time when you get the C-section, and they're not too early, because we could play a guessing game and then the pups be too early, and then you end up losing a lot of puppies. You know, and also if you wait too long, you could have complication where she goes in and then you're rushing to the vet, and then you end up losing pups anyway if any get stuck. So timing is key.
Definitely, especially since in certain states like my state, emergency C-section can be anywhere from $1,800 to $2,300. So if you can't, if that's not something you're willing to pay, you might want to be real on point with when you schedule, because once she's in labor, it's an emergency C-section. Even if she's not pushing puppies, if she's in labor and you take her in, they're gonna consider it an emergency C-section. They're gonna charge you just like that. Go ahead, Damien.
Wow, that's a lot of money. $2,300.
Yeah, my last C-section I paid $2,100.
Wow. Okay, I had a question from a couple weeks ago, but it's actually been a hot topic this week, especially. How important is it for you guys to get credit for dogs you produce but other people promote?
Tony's not on, so I'll answer that. A lot of people, it's funny. It's funny because when you giving people credit for their productions, I mean, how many times do I have to give you credit for your production? Like, if somebody's promoting the dog, as long as they're not trying to take credit for producing the dog, I mean, I don't think you need to mention the person's name every time you mention the dog, because anybody you buy a dog from, anybody you buy a dog from, if that dog goes to the wrong place, the dog doesn't get known. So it's not so much about the I gotta send another invite to Tom. It's not so much about who produced the dog when it comes to promotion, because in the wrong hands, any dog could be nobody, or any dog could be a big name. You know what I mean? If I'm a breeder and I sell a dog to somebody who just wants a pet, but I sell him one of my best dogs out of litter, nobody ever sees that dog. It's nothing. So the person who promoting the dog and owns the dog gets credit for the popularity of the dog, not the person who breeds it. I don't understand that.
Sean, you want to chime in on that one?
Oh, I haven't experienced that. I mean, I really, I keep that comment to myself.
So the question was, how important is it for you as a breeder? Go ahead, Damien, because I don't remember what you said.
How important is it to you as a breeder to get recognized for the dogs you produce but somebody else promotes?
How important I don't know what's up with this hangout. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even see myself, but okay. So the question is, how important is it for someone to promote the dogs that you produce? Is that what it was? I only called
How important is it for you as a breeder to get recognition for a dog that somebody else is promoting or whatever, something like that, right, Damon?
Right. Somebody else is promoting the dog, but you produce the dog.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that happens. I mean, you see it happening all the time with guys. It's important. I believe that the breeder should get credit. It's the breeder's production. So it's unjust for someone to take a dog and put whatever line on it. Like a lot of these guys, you see them, they promote them as their lines, and you got a lot of new guys in the community that don't know any better, and they go in, they purchase a dog thinking that it's a pure dog that comes off of this line that's this highly renowned line that everybody seeks dogs off of, and in reality it's not. The dog's so far from it, and it's someone else's production. So
I don't think that's what he means. I think like my situation. I didn't produce Boss, but I own Boss and I promote Boss. So he's saying, like, in a situation like that, like, how important is it for you to get credit? Not so much like they're trying to not give you credit for the breeding or producing the dog. But
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
think that every time I put up my dog's name, I have to mention the person that produced the dog. As long as everybody knows that I didn't produce the dog, I don't have to mention your name every time I mention my dog's name.
well, I mean that's true. That's true. But you're also not promoting your dog as a dog off any line.
Right.
Also, you know what I'm saying? You're not saying, well, it's off of this. If you had an established line and you got the dog from someone else, so yours is a completely different situation. But I understand. Well, it's important for me. Most of the dogs I don't use go to pet homes. That's why you don't see a lot of my dogs in the community. Um, I'm just not into selling to breeders that are going to do a whole lot of breedings and just flood the market with my stuff. I'm old school, so I believe in blood being kept exclusive. I'm not like these new age breeders who seek after the blood that everybody and their mother has. Um, so I think value comes in something that's exclusive. So for me, I try to just lock down the market with my blood as far as just keeping it exclusive. So I put the majority of the stuff that I don't keep into pet homes. Um, so to me, I mean, if someone does have my dogs, a few people that do it, it is important for them to do. I would hope that they're out there showing the dog and proving that, I'm producing good quality stuff. Well, I think it's very important for people to represent you, in a good light.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about strains for a minute. Another thing we were talking about earlier in the week, like let's just take any line for example. And each strain has a developed look from that line, right? Like such a strain A of Razor's Edge has a big head. Strain B has whatever divine look. How do you get recognized as a separate strain, or is that just bully? Is that just community talk where people say Razor's Edge has 20 different strains, but it's all the same base Razor's Edge blood?
I'll go first, Tom. Um, when you say strain, like a lot of people say things because they hear other people say it. It's not a strain. For you to have a strain, it would have to be so consistent that it's separate from everything else. Just because it's different doesn't make it a strain. It just means that the bloodline is inconsistent. So I mean, that's just a lot of talk, like what people hear other people say. There's no strains of Razor's Edge because there aren't enough breeders line breeding their own blood within the Razor's Edge. So there's no strain. Like I can only think of one person, and I always mention his name because the only person that has an actual program that I can think of on the top, not including Tony. I'm talking about like that just does Razor's Edge dog. And that's Garrett Henshaw. He's the only one that has Razor's Edge, but that has his own. Like if you look at his peds, everything says Henshaw within his peds. So
But he's got his own. He's got his own bloodline. Yeah, he's brought in other blood.
And when you're looking at his program, he has a strain of Razor's Edge, but there's nobody else really doing that with Razor's Edge blood. So
well, I think that Garrett's just. I can't really say it's a strain because he's created his own bloodline. He took Razor's Edge, and he's got Guardian in there now and stuff. And just, I mean, that's the goal. That's what we're looking to achieve. For strains, I believe there are different strains of edge dogs. In order to have a strain, like Lawrence said, you got to create something consistent in it. You can have 3 different breeders all breeding edge dogs, and their dogs carry similar but different looks and different characteristics. But you can take a Razor's Edge dog and throw in something else. Throw in Gaff, throw in Gotti, and then line breed on it. Okay? And right there you've created a strain of Razor's Edge. It's still mostly Razor's Edge dogs, but you've tweaked it. So that's how you develop strains. Like Lawrence said, there's very few people that really have strains. We throw a lot of terms around loosely in the bully world that just simply aren't true and don't mean nothing. But yeah, So I mean, there are strains out there, but very few. There's very few people that are doing the right thing that truly have a strain of Razor's Edge. At least that's how I feel.
Okay, next question. Says you guys have already previously discussed what it takes to be recognized as a bloodline. What are you guys' plans moving toward that, and how soon do you think you'll be able to accomplish those goals for yourself?
Go ahead, Tom.
I'm getting a lot of. I can't even see anybody. I'm getting a lot of broken up. I didn't even.
See you and hear you fine, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we can see and hear you fine, Tony.
I know, but I'm not here, and like it's breaking up for me. Like when you're asking me the questions, I don't know what's going on. I have full service, full thing. I don't know why the Hangouts is acting crazy. So can you please repeat that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's basically they want to know, since you got previously discussed what it takes to establish a bloodline, how close are you to establishing that for yourself, and when do you think that'll be a reality, basically?
I already have my own bloodline. I actually, back in the day, I had a bunch of dogs. I actually basically had someone sell them all from under me. I was able to salvage one female, and then what I did, I inbred on that. So I lost a couple generations of dogs, but I was able to salvage a female that was two generations of my dogs, and then I inbred on it, and I bred full brother, full sister. I created Boss Hog and Champion Tootsie and another champion female and Mamba, and I was able to breed those dogs. And I mean, I have, now I have grandkids to Boss Hog, so I've pretty much established it. I brought an outside source. I brought some Gaff blood. So my dogs have a little gray line and just a touch. I have Gotti. I have some different strains of Razor's Edge, like we talked about. I have, I incorporated some. I like the Fang blood, but I recently incorporated a little bit of Remy and Excalibur, which a lot of them dogs come from the same place. So, I'm good. I'm where I need to be as far as creating a bloodline. It's just keeping it consistent. That's the tough part. Keeping it consistent, evolving at the same time, and separating yourself from everybody else. So I feel like I'm there, but there's a lot of work that I still have to do.
Myself, I'm not anywhere near having my own bloodline. I actually haven't inbred on any of my dogs yet. A lot of my earlier productions and stuff like that, I don't have anymore because the temperament of the dogs was what I didn't want, so I pretty much started all over. So I'm nowhere near creating my bloodline. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question is, you guys have been to a lot of dog shows, and basically they just want to know, at what point do you think it's become, I guess, the norm for your dog to win every show without truly being judged? Because they say they experienced something similar this past weekend at a dog show where the dog wasn't truly assessed but given ribbons. Do y'all think that's a thing?
I just think that's people not doing their job correctly. I mean, you should assess every dog. It all depends. See, some people that just don't know exactly how the process works. They look at it from the outside and they're like, "Oh, the judge didn't go over the dog," but that dog might have been in the ring previously. It advanced, so the dog was already evaluated by the judge. So the dog keeps a mental note, and he just may go over and, like, at times I'll just go over and just check a certain area of the dog just to compare it with the other dog that it's in the ring with at that time. But I already know that the dog has a correct bite, or I may know that the dog is a little undershot already. So sometimes the crowd might not understand, and they just see, well, that judge just skipped over that dog, and in reality, that dog was just in the ring previously. So we have that happen a lot of times. But I really can't say, what goes on in the show. I don't know. I mean, is the question based on, is there favoritism? Is that what they're asking?
Basically, because she's typing now, she said that this dog was handled by a well-known breeder who's known for winning best in shows and things like that with multiple breeds. It seemed, she said, I watched very closely before even making a comment to anyone, and her dog, several times in the rings, was not truly assessed. Multiple breeds she was handling.
Well, it's hard to say. They should be. If they're not, then yeah, it would raise a flag for me. But all the dogs should be checked. Every dog should have a fair shot. Is there favoritism? Yeah, there definitely is. Unfortunately, we have a lot of, there's corrupt people. There's judges that don't do their job. There's judges that are just in it for the money, and they want to lace their pockets. So, and that's a reality. But at the same time, there's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good judges, and there are people that win a lot because they deserve it. They understand dogs. They're out there showing. They're putting in the work. They're going through their stock. They're only bringing out the best. Some people only show certain dogs. A good handler will only show certain dogs. Like, I won't just show any dog. So if someone comes to me with a dog that's kind of crappy and I feel it's not show quality, I'll tell them, no, I can't show the dog. But if you have a decent dog, I'll say, yeah, I'll show your dog for you. So, Lauren?
I think what they referring to is a lot of the things you see. If you go to enough shows, excuse me. If you go to enough shows, you see stuff, you notice stuff if you pay attention. And you'll notice that certain handlers go to every show, no matter where it's at, and they always win, even with dogs that they shouldn't be winning with. So a lot of times, you're going to see that. You're going to see if certain people are in the building, you got to automatically know that they're going to win. And it's sad, but it's true. Like, everybody wants to act like it's not true. It's definitely true. So when I go to the shows, I don't go to the shows with any expectations. I just go and look at it as another promoting opportunity, because other than that, you don't know what's going to happen that day.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen dogs trying to bite judges. I've seen dogs trying to bite the handlers. I've seen dogs laying down in the ring. I mean, and then on the other flip side, at the same time, if you're on the sidelines watching a dog show and you don't know what you're looking at, just because a dog stands still doesn't mean it should have won. Like, a lot of times when boss goes in the ring, they always get like, oh man, I can't believe he didn't win. He was like a statue, and a lot of judges are not really looking at that. That how still the dog stands and for how long and stuff like that. So you gotta know what's in the ring, what the judge is looking at, but you gotta keep it real and know that the politics is definitely heavy.
Yep.
Okay. This question, I guess, is actually for both of you guys. It says, without having dogs there, if you were a judge, can you describe the process you take just looking at any dog?
Well, Tony's a judge, so I'll go first since I'm not a judge. If I was a judge, the first thing I would be looking at is the connection between the owner and the dog. That's just for me though, cause it takes a lot. If you spend enough time training your dog and you get your dog tip top ready, it takes a lot, and you gotta have a certain connection with your dog, and that means that you dedicated and you really about it. So to me, that's important. So that would be the first thing. How the dog is kept, and then the whole check they go through with the structure and the stance and all that. That's what. But the first thing I would look at will be the connection between the dog and the owner. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, the first thing we want to look for is breed type. You know, if as a judge, what you do when you're evaluating the dogs, you got to make a mental note and you eliminate the dogs right from the beginning that lack breed type. If you have a dog that doesn't look like they're supposed to be American bullies and they're lacking serious breed type and they don't really look like an American bully and they look more of like a pit bull, that's a dog lacking breed type. So you want dogs that resemble the breed. That's one of the most important things. And then we look at other things like, you know, the temperament of the dog. That's very important because that could be a disqualifying um, trait if you have a dog that's that's acting aggressive or that's extremely shy. So we look for confidence. We look, like Lawrence said, for the bond between the dog and the owner. A dog that's alert and happy to be there. Uh, a dog that has proper structure. We're looking for a dog that has the minimal flaws or faults. Um, and anybody can stack a dog nice. That's why a lot of people see in these pictures the dogs look great, but you can hide a lot of things in a stack. But everything comes to light when the dog moves. So things that you can hide in a stack, you can see in the dog's movement. You can see it in the gait. So that's why it's so important to evaluate the dog and to have them go around the ring and do a back and forth and those things, because you can see how the dog lines up, just naturally how he moves. So that's the things that that you're supposed to look for as a judge.
Okay. Let me just say this. They actually went over your next question, Chrissy. I think it's episode 12. Will they not hire a handler and why? But her follow-up question to that is, Tony, do you guys actually receive training in different breeds like the Frenchie and I guess it's Wettables, or basically, do you guys receive training in the other breeds as well as the American Bully? Do you guys receive equal training, or
No,
is it up to you guys?
the training has been one of the things that's really lacking. This is myself and others have really pushed and have made an effort to talk to the people that run things and for different registries and try to push to have the education behind the breeds. That's why, when you see a registry just accepting a bunch of breeds, yet a lot of their judges don't even understand the main breed that that they started with. It's like, how can you manage all that? But I think it's very important. You don't receive it. Basically, you have to be a dog lover. You have to take pride in what you want to do. And the few of us will sit back and, you just study the different breeds. And that way you can do just the best job. Some of us have a lot more experience. Some of us come from other breeds. Some of us have been around a lot of other breeds. So we can do a better job evaluating a dog. Others, all they know is American Bullies. They've only been in a couple years and they're judges, so how can they possibly evaluate all these different breeds? Now, as far as the ABKC, there's just a few breeds. They have a bunch of breeds on board, but I think the only recent one that's actually showing is the Bull Terrier. But the most common ones are the American Bully, of course, and all the different variations. And then you have the French Bulldog, the English Bulldog, the Oldie, the Old English Bulldog, and the French Bulldog, and then Shorty Bulls also. So those are the main breeds.
You want to add anything to that one, Lawrence?
What was the question again?
It was basically, do judges receive training in other breeds besides the American Bully?
I'm not a judge. I don't know none about what training they receive. I can't answer that.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next question. Next question, I'm assuming this is for Tony too. It says, Tony, now that you're a free agent, what are your plans moving forward with the breed?
Well, I mean, basically, I just focus on just educating people, man, and just you know, I basically just my thing is I love the breed, and I can't stand for. I'm just not a puppet. I'm just not like, most people that need like feel that they need to fit in somewhere to feel important. Like I paved my own road. I've always been like that. I always work hard. I believe the harder you work, people just can't hold you back, whether they like you or not. You know, um, and that's what I do. I just try to judge for any registry where I can reach people, where I can make sure that the proper dogs are winning. Um, like I always do, I'm always here helping people. I'm always answering questions and just promoting the breed, man. That's it. So that's all I'm doing right now.
Cool. Okay, next question is for you guys. It says it says hypothetically, if you guys either one of you were to start your breed tomorrow, what are the foundations you would? I mean, start your registry tomorrow. What are the foundations you would start your registry on?
Go ahead, Tom.
A foundation of what? Like, meaning
I'm
like
assuming
how
we're
would
talking about principles like structure,
the
things
per?
like that.
Yeah, that's how I took it. All right. Um, I mean, it's just like any noble registry, man. Any registry that wants to do right by a breed or by breeds. Um, you wanna make sure that you're policing the dogs getting registered. You want to make sure that you're following, keeping up with stuff, um, so that you can keep the gene pool, clean and free of any kind of, mixes. And I mean, you could only regulate that so much, but right now with the registries, they're not doing anything. They're registering whatever to bring in the money, and that ultimately sets the breed back. That's why we don't really have a consistency. So that would be one of the things. Um, you want to have, um, nice shows, nice events, um, and you want to make sure that your judges are trained. So that's what I would focus on, just training the judges, hiring judges who are qualified that actually have, some time behind dogs of any breed, and that put the work in. I mean, that's the backbone to our registry, and just stay honest.
Um, I think we got enough registries, honestly. So, but as far as what Tony said, you gotta police it, but you can only police so much, man. What people do, I think that we need to worry more about what we need to do and what we already have than trying to start something new to try to counteract what's going on. That's what keeps happening over and over and over. Everybody wants to start a registry instead of trying to work on what needs to be fixed.
Right. I think they're just saying hypothetically. It's a question for us just to
Yeah.
see where we're at with the thing. I mean, of course, we know I would never start a registry. There's just
I mean, I think if I had a registry, the thing that I see lacking a lot is I think that the owners are not really as involved in the areas they're supposed to be involved. They're more involved in the areas that they shouldn't be involved. And that, if you notice, like with all the registries, none of the registries have anything to do with the promotion of the breed or promotion of the registry. It's always left up to the show host. That's why the show hosts have so much control
yep.
over what goes on in the ring. Because if you own a business and you pay for a commercial, that's to advertise your business. You're not going to leave it up to your customers to go out and advertise your business. And that's what's happening. So the show hosts have way too much control over what goes on.
Very true.
The
Good
registries need
point.
to get more involved. It needs to be taken more serious. It's like it's letting everything run itself. And just they only worry about the paperwork. And I don't think that that's the way it should be done. I think the advertising, promotion, everything should be done by the registry, not the show host. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is, um, oh, sorry, hold on. Bad feedback. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Question is, I know you guys cannot police ethics within the bully community, but I would like to ask you guys a question to see where you stand on it. If something is done that's totally egregious and can be proven, do you think the person should receive some type of suspension or termination from a registry that they participate in? I know they would just go to another registry, but it would make a statement based on, you know, some of the goings on that we have within the registry.
Um, I think that was talked about a long time ago, and they made a bunch of rules and said a bunch of things, and nothing happened. So, of course, I think that there should be repercussions for everything that you do in life. You know what I'm saying that's what you learn growing up. But you can also learn that in certain areas and certain things that there are no repercussions. So
I definitely think there should be repercussions. The problem is the reason there aren't any repercussions is because usually, you know, the registry is benefiting from that person in some way, shape, or form. So a lot of times, you got guys that are doing corrupt stuff or cooking shit, and you know, they're throwing, you know, 5, 6 shows a year for the registry. So you think the registry's really going to do anything about it? Nope. You know, they're going to tell you, yeah, file a complaint, do this, do that. But I mean, that's one of the issues. I mean, these guys basically do whatever they want. You know, show hosts do whatever they want. Judges do what they want. Show hosts pick the same judges. They have their whole little group of people, their whole little circle that they do all their events with. So, to me, it's a conflict of interest, and you know, you can't have anything be fair when you have it ran like that. So I definitely think that people should, you know, pay the consequence for doing things that they shouldn't be, that are unethical to the registry or to the breed.
Yep. And when you have people doing a job that they're not really being compensated correctly for, you're gonna always have corruption. So
Yeah.
you don't really, the people who do judging don't do it because they're making money. They do it because they love it. Because you're not making no money doing that. So
Yeah, but then you have judges that are show hosts also. You know, you have judges that are show hosts and stuff like that. But most judges are doing it because they love it. You take time away from your family, from your dogs. You usually have to pay somebody to take care of your dogs. You're not making much of anything, so you're doing it for the love. You know, unless you're getting paid under the table to pick some dogs, but I don't know nothing about that.
go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question is, I can't. It says, I don't know about you guys, but I would really like for shows to bring back that backyard barbecue feel. I know a lot of people never really liked that, but I think the camaraderie and family environment that it provided added something that the shows are missing now. Do you guys agree or disagree?
No, I disagree. Um, I'm going to tell you why. I mean, I think we touched base on this before. I mean, it's like going backwards. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you can still do that. If you want to have a get-together, do like some of these guys are doing and put a little event together and get everybody together at the park and cook out. The problem is with that, it's even with dog shows, but especially meeting up at a park, a dog park that already has a ton of dogs there on a daily basis, and then you got people coming from over everywhere. Dogs are going to the bathroom, especially during the warm months, you know, spring and summer. You're subjecting your dogs to catch viruses, to catch parvo, distemper, all that stuff. So that's a downfall about the backyard barbecues. You know, you get everybody showing up, people bringing puppies, and I think it's just going backwards. I think the registries that's kind of like the same thing. You can still hang out with people, you can still talk to people, you still get to promote your dog. So that's where I'm at with it.
I think what I notice about the backyard thing, it does bring the camaraderie and things like that, but it also takes away from the seriousness of what we do. I think it gives people the idea that this is just a fun thing to do.
Right.
Put it together. And you got a bunch of people getting together and they look at it like just like a car club, and it's not. So that's why you have so many breeders that don't know what the hell they're doing putting dogs together. You know, I think that the backyard barbecues would keep it that way. Like all the people that show up today, they want to hear the music. I love rap music. You know, I like doing my thing and all that, but I don't want to do it at a dog show. I think that's something serious and it should be taken serious. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question is: at what point do you think the American bully would fully incorporate another breed? It seems like a crazy question, but with the way things are moving, it seems like something new is popping up within the breed every day. So do you guys officially think that they're going to recognize another breed, or are they just going to let the other breeds do their own thing that are trying to be incorporated into the bully breed?
I think that whatever becomes popular, if enough people want to do it, it's going to get incorporated. Because if you look at the new breeds that are coming in, they're going to end up like they bringing bull terriers in. I don't think they're going to become as popular. But if they did, I'm pretty sure they will find a way to fuck them up. Like they do with the Frenchies. Like, you look at some of these Frenchies, man, they look crazy. And it's like every dog that anybody that's in the bully community gets a hold of, they want to try to make it extreme as they can. And I don't
It's
understand.
like the English bulldogs. Most of the English bulldogs are garbage that we have in our community. The bull terriers are garbage. These people are like, oh, I got this crazy bull terrier. They think they're so good. I had bull terriers, so I know what a good bull terrier is. These bull terriers are pet quality bull terriers you're showing. So how you expect to establish something, you know?
I mean, can you imagine people wanting bullier bull terriers and they add in bulldogs?
I mean, they already have some big bully bull terriers, but not the ones in our community. But if you look at the AKC, they're having a problem where their dogs are just becoming too big. But look, the community's never going to be able to handle a dog like that. People don't realize that it's cool right now. They see a market for it. I got rid of bull terriers, and I like working dogs. Bull terriers are a handful. They're not just for anybody. It takes a special person. That's why you don't find a lot of breeders. If you look around, everybody, oh, I can't find a breeder with bull terrier, this and that. And usually the bull terrier breeders that you do find that are reputable are always sold out of their pups. People they get in and out of them dogs quicker than anything.
Those dogs are stubborn as hell, mean as hell. They're animal aggressive. They're not afraid, and they don't care if you crack them in the head. They will keep doing exactly what they want to do. So I don't mess with bull terriers at all. Go ahead, Damien. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Nah, they're neurotic. You know, they're like a neurotic breed, man. They're just a handful. They're good. I mean, you got some that got real good temperaments, and some are they're wound up, man. They do crazy stuff, man. They do a lot of crazy stuff. They're a cool breed, but it takes a special person. Don't know. You know, and everybody in our community is into multiple breeds. And then you're going to see one person in the bully community that's just going to focus on bull terriers. They're not. They're going to focus just like everybody else. They're going to have multiple breeds because they're trying to get a little bit of cash from this market, a little bit of cash from that market, and they're going to screw it up.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. I don't understand the mentality, man. I'm starting to see these really, really bully, freaky little Frenchies that's like this big and freaking little cross-eyed bulldogs and that run sideways.
Yeah, and everything, as far as the standard, everything's off on them. The ear set's off, the muzzle, the eyes. I mean, everything is off on them. Yeah, they got really long backs. You know, Frenchie's supposed to be a short back dog. You know, but they got
now they starting to get crazy legs and eyes, and cockeyed and all that. I don't know, man. That's why, like I said, I always say the same thing, man. Find yourself people who think like you and just stick to your circle and do your thing and don't worry about nobody else. If you got time to worry about anybody else, you can't possibly have time to worry about yourself. So, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, we got a couple questions from Spielberg. First of all, Tony, he wants to know who does your hair.
Ah!
You like that? Well, see, hey, I don't have to look pretty like Lawrence. You see me, man. I'm just, I come on here looking just rough. I just came from out in the woods, man. Hey, Lawrence, there ain't nothing wrong, man. You like to stay nice and clean cut, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I just don't care. But yeah, my barber, Teddy, if you're listening, my Dominican barber, Teddy, man, he done screwed me up, man. He gave me like the, what's it called, like the flat top, but it's not the flat top, but the slant.
He gave him the sweet pea.
Yeah. So, yep.
Go ahead, Damien. What's the next one?
Next one is who's the best MC in the game?
Who's the best MC in the game?
Bully the kid.
Who's the best MC in the game? What kind of question is that?
You got to tell him. Hey, just for that, you got to say bully the kid, man.
Listen, everybody know that Spielberg is the best MC in the game, most highly sought after. Make sure y'all check out the Spielberg Experience. I don't know what day is on. Don't be mad at me. I don't know what day is on, but I definitely show love. Make sure y'all check Spielberg out on Spielberg Experience. Go ahead, Damien.
No, it's definitely. I mean, I want to say it's definitely Spielberg, man.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, Spielberg get the crowd hyped. He got the voice. He got the personality. It never gets boring. You can't beat that. So Spielberg is definitely the #1 MC in the game.
He does. He draws the crowd in. He gets everybody.
I'll tell you what. Since we claiming titles, I'm gonna claim title as best trainer in the game. And if anybody want to have a battle, holla at me. You know what I mean?
What, for training goldfish or what?
Training barbers, because you need a new one.
Well, that's good. You go ahead, work with my barber, man.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, next question. How important is it? How important do you think it should be for bully dog shows to be documented on video or recorded in some format?
Man, I think it's super duper important. I think that it's important for promotion. That's why, like, when I go to shows, I film my own thing, because you be sitting there looking through these videos and you don't see yourself, you don't see your wins and none of that. So I film my own stuff. But it's important because a lot of the arguments that people have that you see on Facebook about what happened at shows, if it was documented to show, then there wouldn't be no argument. So it's always he said this and she said that, and this person only saw it this way and that way. You get it on tape, it ain't no arguing about it. So all those people that got problem with what's going on at the show, get it on tape.
Yeah, I agree. People definitely keep people aware of what they're doing, man. You know, I think you know, it'll stop a lot of things from going on if everyone knows that everything's documented, you know, for every show. I think that would be a good thing. Mm-hmm. If it was up to me, I'd have a show down every judge's throat for, you know, I'd have a camera down every judge's throat, man, every show.
I mean, if you got somebody in the ring filming all the dogs, not just some of the dogs, and, you know, because a lot of times in the videos, in each class, you only see 1 or 2 dogs in the videos. But if you got somebody filming all the dogs and the picks, and you watching these dogs run around the ring, and you seeing what dogs are being picked, I mean, especially on tape, you can't dispute it, because you can keep rewinding as many times as you want and see that, no, that dog should never have won. Well, this is the dog that should have won that class.
And it's good for the evolution of the breed also, to be able to go back and just see, you know, what the dogs looked like back in the day. Just, you know, it'd be nice to have that. you know, and have it put all on a DVD each show season, just for, you know, historical purposes. And
No, when I go to shows now, I have somebody standing close by me or in a position where they could film me, and they film my whole stack, my whole out and bag, my whole going around, and then down to the winning, and I just chop it up and make my videos. But I make sure all the dogs are in the video. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, it says I want to see how you feel about competition. When you go to a dog show, do you prefer it be a watered down version of the dog shows we have now, or do you always want the best of the best there so you can compete and know that if you win, you were one of the best of the best?
yep, best of the best. Always, always. I never look for easy win. You don't really get any gratitude from getting easy wins. Some people do. Some people just want that title, they want the certificate. Never. I don't feel like I accomplished anything if I didn't go against good competition. I've always been somebody that if I know the best dog, there's some people that will back out, won't show their dog, or just in like something like weight pooling. Get it all the time. Weight pooling, people call around just to find out if you're going to be at that weight pool, you know? And as soon as they find out you're coming with your dog, they'll back out, or they'll show up and they won't pool. You know, you want to compete against the very best. You want to prove that you're beating the top dogs out there.
Yeah, same thing. I hate when I go in the ring and there's not enough dogs in the ring, or to me, there's not really no competition in the ring. Not no disrespect to nobody's dog. You just feel better. Like, you can get a first place ribbon being the only dog in the ring, and then go on and get best in show and all of that, or best in breed. So there's a lot of dogs that champ out like that. But going in the ring where there's no competition and getting enough first place ribbons to go on and champ the dog out. So go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question says, let me get back to it. It seems like the same judges are being recycled at a lot of shows. 6 or so judges being recycled over and over. Do you guys think that it should be a cap on how many shows you could judge a year, and should it be mandatory to rotate judges?
I think the registry should pick, or the head judges, the director of judges should pick what judges go to what shows. Like I said, there's certain people that are throwing most of the shows, and they have their circle of people, and they have their circle of judges, and they rotate the same judges, you know, through all their shows, and it's not right. But there are people like Baco Bullies, Frankie from Baco Bullies in California. You'll see he makes an effort to have different judges. He throws a lot of shows. They're huge events. They're awesome. He throws the best show out of any ABKC show host. He throws the best shows around, and he will have different judges for the shows. He'll bring you in a couple times. I mean, he'll bring you in once a year, but he has so many shows. But he always pairs you up different judges, and he'll only use you once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on how many shows he has. But he focuses on having different judges. That way, you know, he caters to the show enthusiasts, and, you know, keeps it fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows, definitely, that's definitely true. There's a lot of shows you'll go to. This year, you'll see they'll have certain judges, and then when you go next year, it'll be the same judges there again. So.
Yeah, and it's not even that show. It's the same show host. Even if they have a show in another state, you'll see the same judges at the show they're throwing in another state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, follow up. It says, should show hosts promote the judges? It seems like folks flock to certain shows with certain judges because they're confident in the results and they have relationships already established. Wouldn't it be great to not know who the judges were until you show up? It would kind of bring everybody out of their comfort zone.
I guess, yeah, yes. if everything was fair, if we knew that there was a neutral party picking the judges for the shows, but if things were going the way they are, if things were just the way they are now, I wouldn't want to go to a show. I've already haven't attended several shows this year just because I don't, I don't feel confident in the judges that they've picked. So I prefer to know certain judges as far as what judges are going to be at a show, because I know that these people are fair. It's not because I have any kind of relationship with them at all. It's because I know that they're truly about the breed. They're truly just there to do a job and to pick the best dog, and they are qualified. They have the knowledge behind it,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Spielberg, we touched on your angulation question. I think it was episode 14, if I'm not mistaken. We were talking about different activities and stuff like that at shows. And basically, it seems like the judges are being cherry picked for the shows. But I'm gonna move on until he finishes typing. The next question. Next question is. Okay, next question is what element do you think that would can be added to the American Bully shows to make it more kid friendly? I know they have junior handlers, but outside of that, there's really nothing for kids to do. And I know we're not gonna add anything like a jump zone or things like that. What else can be done?
Well, they do have, some show hosts do incorporate different things for the kids, like a jump zone type thing, like one of the bouncy things. They also do face painting. I don't know. I used to see it a lot more like 2 years ago than before then than I do now, but it all depends on the show host and what they're looking to put into it. Like we talked about earlier, the problem is if the registry was more involved and said, listen, this is what we're going to do for the kids, then these things could be implemented, but it's all left up to the show host. And a lot of show hosts, they want to make as much money as possible. They don't want to put any added, money or effort into the show because it's taken out of their pockets. So they do the minimum. But I think, as far as the dog thing, what more can you add than the junior handler program? Anything outside of that is just something to keep them occupied and something to have them, to where they can interact with each other. Law, you got anything?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. What, you got a Reese's peanut butter cup, man?
No, sir. The problem is, a lot of people don't watch their badass kids when they go to shows. Their kids be running all over the place, doing whatever they want, jumping on them bouncy houses with their shoes on and tearing shit up. And who wants to be responsible for somebody's kid getting hurt or them destroying some shit that you done rented for this place, trying to look out when the parents are not watching their kids? I wouldn't want to be responsible for getting a bouncy house and your kid get hurt because you over here drinking and smoking, and your kid is jumping all over the place acting a fool. So you gotta look at it both ways too.
That is true. There's been many a times I've had to say stuff to the parents. They got their kids running into the rain, just running on dogs, touching people's dogs, going inside their booth. Look at the one show with you, Law. Remember they were throwing a football, hitting your glass, whatever they're called, and just, I had to say something to them for that, just, but that's on the parents, man. Parents need to really, keep an eye on their kids, man. But the parents go there to do their thing and the party or whatever, and then they just let their kids run just wild.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And I see it all the time, man. You see the same kids at most of the shows, and they be the same kids that's running around, and you always got to ask them where their parents at.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question we have is a puppy question. It says I have about a 14-week week-old puppy who seems to have a serious problem with chewing. Bought dog toys. I've kenneled. I've done all of these things and still haven't really resolved my issues. Is there anything else you guys can think? He is getting the proper exercise and diet, so he should not, and he doesn't suffer from anxiety. So what else could it be, or what else can you guys think of?
What is he chilling on? What's the puppy chilling on?
Let me ask real quick.
You know, typically puppies sleep a lot. So if the puppy's getting adequate exercise and you're really wearing him down, give him the attention, he's going to be sleeping. You know, when he's not out doing some kind of activity or running around, he's going to be sleeping. Puppies sleep a lot. So I would look at there whether he's really getting enough exercise. Also, if he's not really playing with his chew toys, get him a marrow-bone. I've never met a dog that didn't like a marrow-bone. You know, and they teeth and stuff, so they want something to chew on, and the marrow bones keep them occupied. My dogs love them. They'll chew on them for, day and night. Well,
chewing on mostly shoes and coffee table.
Yeah, well, that's the things in front of them. Those are the most common things, because they're right there in front of them. The shoes is just probably a behavioral thing that he's picked up on. He's been allowed to do. When they go by the shoes as an owner, you're supposed to be right there. You just give them a little tap on the butt or on the nose, nothing hard. Just tell them no. Pull them away from the shoes. My dogs know. After a couple of times, man, they know. If they go to grab on my shoes, I just tap them on my shoe, tell them no, or I just tap them on the head or on the muzzle, on the butt, something like that. No. They'll try you a couple of times. Eventually, they will realize that, hey, I'm not supposed to do that. And they'll try it a couple of times after that. They'll test the waters. And you have to be consistent with reprimanding the dog, with giving them the command. The commands have to be consistent. It's not really, most of the time, it's not on the puppy, it's not on the dog, it's on the owner. So you have to train yourself. You have to train yourself.
If you can't watch your puppy, he shouldn't be running around loose. I mean, if you can't watch him, he should not be unsupervised running around. And how I teach him is I don't hide stuff from my puppies. If, say, this was a remote and there was some way the puppy could get a hold of it, I wouldn't, put it up, so he couldn't get away from it. I would leave it there and teach him that this doesn't belong to him. So you have to supervise your puppies. You can't wait until you find out that they did something to try to correct them. You have to catch them doing that. And you can't do that if you're not supervising.
Yep.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is, there are different versions of the American Bully, some more athletic than the others, some bigger, some bulkier than the others. It says, looking at the American Bully the athletic version, do you guys think that things like weight pull and tug of war, things like that, are good for the breed or bad for the breed? Where the breed needs to go, basically.
I mean, go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
No, I think that what they're asking is if you think those dogs become more popular, that'll kind of go towards the terrier, more athletic type of dogs. Do you guys think that's good for the breed or bad for the breed, or if that would even happen?
Well, listen, the dog doesn't have to be super athletic to do weight pull. Will it be able to compete on the level of an American Pit Bull Terrier? Probably not. But if you're competing against your own kind, other American bullies, then they can very well excel. I've had bullies that pull. I've had bullies that were top weight pull dogs that were beating top American Pit Bull Terriers. So, that was just a personal challenge between me and my buddy, slash partner. So, we wanted to prove everybody wrong. But any kind of event, any kind of event with the dogs, added events would be great. The tug of war, that's something that a real stocky dog can do regardless. As long as the dogs can breathe right, that's something they can participate in. I think any added stuff would be great for the breed.
I don't agree. Because I think that if you into weight pulling and all of that stuff, they already have breeds and shows and all of that do that. That's one. Two, the shows are already going on till 11 o'clock at night. If you add all of these damn events to the shows, you won't get out of there till the next day. So it wouldn't make sense to try to do
Well,
that.
that's because there's so many shows within one event. That's the thing. But the weight pulling is something that the ABKC was doing for a while. They were incorporating weight pulling at the dog shows, and it worked out fine. It worked out great.
At that point when they were doing that, how many breeds were they showing in a day? And how many breeds were in the building?
They were still doing the Frenchies, the Shorties, and
I've never
you
seen
know.
it.
Well, because this is the problem with, again, it falls on the show hosts. Some show hosts want to have it, some don't. It's hard because the ABKC is not providing the weight pool track. So you have to outsource. You have to go to outsource to find a track, and you got to pay the people. So what happens is that, show hosts just don't want to put that added money. I mean, to get somebody to bring you a track, you have to rent a track. You got to travel with it with a trailer. Not many people own tracks, so they're traveling a long distance just to come to the show.
All the bricks, all that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is not cheap. You have to get together with a company, Lowe's or Home Depot. You got to buy a whole rack of blocks, man. For the weight on a cart. So, I mean, it's just a lot of money.
Go ahead,
But I
David.
don't think it would harm the breed, man. It wouldn't harm the breed. It would be good for the breed itself.
I think there's already enough events like that in.
But it would only help the breed for the fact that so many dogs are unhealthy right now. If people got involved with more like working activities, then I think it could only help the breed as far as and help more people would be conscious, on the type of dog that they're breeding. So they could possibly help other people, when it would attend and compete. That's a different story.
Right. Go ahead, David.
Okay, it says, giving you guys knowledge and experience at dog shows, do you think vendors could be successful with providing some of these events? I know when you're attending dog shows, you don't really probably have a lot of intention of spending extra money, but do you guys think that would be a good business move for a vendor to do this? And would that be accepted by the registry?
I mean,
Sure.
a vendor, they would have to pretty much be involved with the show because you need to have permission to bring the tracks and all of that, have a place to set them up. Or I don't know. I don't know how I feel. There's already events like that. If you want to see that and do that, take your bully out there and incorporate your bully into those type of events instead of trying to incorporate the events in the shows that we had. Just go out there, kick ass with your dog. Maybe other people will join in, and then maybe it'll move over. But there's already events like that. All of that, it's events like that already.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got for weight pool, you got IWPA, APA. I mean, there's different organizations that, it doesn't matter what kind of breed. You could have a mutt and pool. They're strictly for working weight pool dogs. That's it.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, it says, to piggyback off the question about the show environment, how do you guys think live music would do at shows? Because I've seen the idea tossed around a lot in the last few months, but nobody's executed on it. Says, me personally, I don't think it'd be a good idea due to stressing the dogs with the loud music, but I do think it would add something to the dog shows.
Yeah, it would do like a lot of TV shows do when they losing ratings. They start hiring celebrities to come out. All it's gonna do is make people want to go to the shows because celebrities coming out, but nobody's gonna be paying attention to the show.
Yeah, it's just going to create more confusion because now you have.
Kevin Gates. I love Kevin Gates. I love his music. But if you bring Kevin Gates to a show, who's gonna be paying attention to the dog show? Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, that's true. You're gonna bring a whole nother just element of chaos to the dog show. So it's just That's not a good idea. Just with the DJs alone, look at the issues it causes. You know, just first of all, you have to worry about the language. You know, with the kids. You know, that's a big issue. And then the noise, the loud noise. The dogs are just imagine. You know how keen a dog's hearing is, and you know they have all these just crazy noises on top of the crowd noise and everything else. So no bueno.
Bad idea. It'd be like a mini concert. Nobody will be paying attention to the dog show. It'd be live. Everybody, you know. It's a good idea, but it doesn't make sense. Not at a dog show. Maybe at a birthday party.
I mean, they've had events. They've had events with dog show and MMA fights at the same place, and I personally know one person that did it, and he said it was overwhelming. It was so much confusion. They thought they put the ring far enough away from where the dogs were, and he said there was just so many people that all the people were ringside, and there was just no room for the dogs to get through, and it just caused just crazy chaos.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, it says, I would like to know where you guys would like to go to a dog show. It says, pretty much we know they're all over the U.S. and other countries now as well, but if you had to pick one show to go to that you hadn't been before, where would it be?
Hawaii.
I want to see a dog show in New York City, not upstate, like New York City.
That'd be tight.
That's my hometown, you know. So I would like to see a dog show up there. I know it would be crazy and expensive because, I mean, there's really no place to do it except for like some place like Madison Square Garden.
New York is expensive. That's why they don't have, you know, any shows directly in, you know, New York City. It's been talked about before, but finding a venue is virtually impossible. An affordable venue, you know.
Go ahead, Damien. Oh wait, Tony, go ahead. What would you say?
I mean, same thing. I mean, really. I mean, I don't know. We've been to shows in every state. I don't know. That's why I said Hawaii. I think Hawaii's a beautiful place. It's somewhere I haven't been. Yeah. Maybe Hawaii, something like that, just for the fact to just experience it, you know, enjoy the culture and the scenery and stuff like that. As long as everything was paid for, I didn't have to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, I bet. You try to fly more than one dog over there, you might have a problem.
I'd like to see what it's for.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, the next question is, sorry, feedback. I know the basics of what rickets is and how it's cured, but I personally know someone who had a pup who had rickets and they did everything right. The pup still did not improve. Is there anything besides the basic things they tell you to do at the vet, the vitamin D, things like that, that you give the pup that you could think of that they should do, or should have done rather, to improve the pup's health?
It's hard to say whether they did everything right or not. Without knowing what they did, if they did everything right and it didn't improve, I mean, it also depends on how long the dog was left with that condition. How long did they wait before they decided they were, you know, or they realized that it was a problem and they needed to make the corrections for the dog to start recovering? That's a big thing. That could be one factor. If there wasn't a factor and they got on it right away and they did all the right stuff and they didn't improve, then I would look at it as some kind of different issue, some kind of other genetic issue.
Right. Yep. Same thing I was gonna say. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is, I really like what you guys do with the show's called the Bully Roundtable, but I really like what you guys do with the show. Is there any thoughts of expanding the brand as of right now?
Um, I mean, we haven't. We definitely. Me and Tom been talking about doing a new banner, and after we do that, we're gonna promote a little. We're gonna promote a lot better. Do commercial. Me and Tom got to get together one of these days when he come pick this shit up out my yard. Um, we'll get together and do a video, and then we'll have a commercial for the show and all that. It'll be promoted a little better. It's hard because the show's on Friday. So a lot of people want to hang out. It's at 9 o'clock, so it's at that hour where everybody's getting ready and they going out and they doing things and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to like promote it as far as with who's coming on because last minute they'll say they're not, or last minute they say they are. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's been an issue, and we may have to change up, the day of when we have the show. We've just been testing the waters, and that's why we haven't been on top of things the way we should be. And, it's kind of hard to do something like this. You think it's only 2 hours, but when you have a family and you got business to attend to, and you got a channel to run, it's tough sometimes. It's just finding the time to do something so simple is hard, at least for me, because I have so much going on.
But yeah, we might have to change the day. Maybe Hump Day. I don't know. I don't want to clash with the Spielberg experience, so we're gonna have to find out what days he's on, so we're not bumping heads like that. And we might change the day, cause Friday, it's a couple people that's boring like us, but most people are hanging out and having fun, so we may do that. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, the follow up to that, if you don't want to play the video, you can get YouTube Red. It's sort of like SoundCloud. You can just play the audio in the background and you don't have to watch the video, like if you're exercising or something like that and want to listen to us. And I said it a couple weeks ago, and I promise I will get the SoundCloud up sometime this coming week. It will be up and functional. Okay, and the next question is, you guys probably have done a lot of business transactions as far as with pups and things like that. How important to you is it, your reputation of doing good business? I know, of course, we all love money and things like that, but it seems like, especially now with all the new stuff we have going on, person's reputation in the bully community doesn't mean as much as it did before.
I think that's wrong. I think it means a lot. I think on Facebook, everybody portrays things a certain way, but trust and believe that people pay attention to the way you do business, because a lot of the people that come see me, they come see me because of somebody else that I did business with and what they told them about how I treated them and how I did business. Shout out Jeff and Zeb. That video that Jeff did where he was telling everybody about how I treated him and his experience and how he got where he wanted me. A lot of people have called me because of that. I was just on the phone with somebody today, and that was one of the things we was talking about. It's important to not worry about trying to get over on somebody now, because that same person send a lot of money your way later. So if you don't treat this person right, you don't give this person what they want, you make the money right now, but they're not going to send nobody to you, and they're not going to come back to you. I got people that bought 3 and 4 dogs from me. Families that they came and they bought a dog, and their niece came and bought a dog, and the cousin came and bought 2 dogs. So it is important. Just don't look at Facebook and believe everything you see on Facebook. Look with your own eyes and pay attention to what you're looking at. Tom?
I mean, I do think it's important. I think it's very important. I do think that some people will take a shot with someone, even though they know or they've heard that the guy's done bad business or ripped somebody off. They get so caught up in the hype that they still go ahead and take that leap and get a dog from them or a puppy or whatever, do business with them, and sometimes people get burnt in the process. I do think people will take that chance you know, because of the hype behind a certain dog, they get so caught up in, I got to get something from this guy. I got to get something off of that dog. You know, and in reality, the guy does bad business. The owner of the dog does horrible business and is a scam artist, you know. But it's important. Reputation is everything. As far as I'm concerned, you know, you want to try to keep everybody happy. You want to stand by your word. You know, stand by your product.
Your reputation is gonna decide how long you can do anything that you do. So if you're just trying to get in and out, then don't worry about it. But if you're trying to be around this breed and being able to continue to do business, because eventually it gets out there, and if enough people have something bad to say about you, then people won't mess with you. Some people will, but most people won't. Even something as simple as some of the pictures I see people put up where they got 15 puppies in a cage together, all smashed in a cage together. They don't realize that people see stuff like that and they don't want to buy dogs from you.
Look, 15, Law, you already know, I already know, you
No,
and I
matter
both
of fact,
know
no,
somebody,
boy.
30,
It was like
30,
30 puppies in a cage.
And this guy constantly has litter after litter of shitty quality
Really
dogs.
did zoom in and count all the puppies. 30 puppies in a cage. If you have no problem letting people see that, then imagine how they really get down. Because I wouldn't put more than 3 small puppies in a cage. 30 puppies in one cage, all soaking wet, dirty, skinny, bones showing, ribs, hip bones showing, everything. I gotta close this door. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Some people just don't give a shit. You
the
know?
reputation is gonna decide how serious people take you, how much money you can get for your puppies, what type of people are gonna do business with you. All of that stuff matters, man.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. When you see these individuals that have 20, 30 puppies and they're all in a cage stuff, these guys or whatever girls, they're not getting good money for their dogs. They're just peddling puppies. They're selling puppies for a couple $100. They're just mass producing. They don't care about quality. Unfortunately, some people they don't see anything wrong with it, and they're just happy to get a dog for cheap. So they still do business with guys like that, and that's why these people still continue to have litter after litter. But yeah, you're not going to get the serious people. You're not going to get the people that care about quality or do their research. You know, that market, you know, you won't have a hold of at all. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is, I think she's just trying to make a joke, but she wants to know who is your guys' favorite dog that you own. Who's the favorite?
Who's our favorite that we own?
Yeah, who's your favorite dog out of the ones you own?
Everybody know who my favorite dog is. Now, see, that's a complicated question for me.
I was just to say.
Cause Lingo is a dog that I broke a lot of my house rules for. Because she means a lot to me. But Boss, that's my dog, man. Like that dog will never go nowhere. Never. He goes everywhere with me. That's my road dog. So Boss is my favorite, and he's just so smart and easy to train. That's my dog. Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, I have a lot of favorites. I just, I don't do that favoritism thing. I mean, I do have my favorites, but I have multiple favorites, you know. I mean, my house dog, yeah, I love him. He stays in the house, but as far as dogs that I'm actually using today in my program, I mean, my boss hog dog, I mean, I love him. The bond between us is incredible. You know, I don't know. I have multiple dogs that I favor. But boss hog is definitely one of my favorite dogs. My balls. My balls
Okay.
off.
Oh, you mean? I thought you meant my balls hard. My fault.
Yeah, my balls off, man. My balls off.
All right.
It's crazy, man. Your favorite dog is balls off, and my favorite dog is balls off.
No. My favorite dog is dual champion Boss Hall.
All right, and my dog is champion balls off.
Yeah.
My dog is the original and only.
So was
First.
so was
First.
Bismarck,
No.
so was Bismarcky and Run DMC. What that mean?
Yeah. Well, that means they're legends, son.
Go ahead, David.
Been around forever.
Yep. Now Bismarcky's on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead, David.
Left his mark, baby.
Okay, next question is, you guys kind of touched on this before, but I would just like to kind of ask you a different variation of the question. It says you don't know anything about the bully community or the bully world or bullies in general, but you really want to get one. What's the first question you ask a reputable breeder?
Where do I find Tony Gold?
You don't exist, Tony.
Oh, okay. All right, just you know well, you have to know what questions to ask. You know, so I would say the first question to ask a reputable breeder, you got to look for little signs. You know, you got to look what their motive is. If a breeder's motive is strictly money and they're just willing to sell you first pick or whatever, then it's gotta, you know, it's gotta alert you a little bit. But you want to ask them how long they've been breeding. You know, what is their objective to breeding? Do they show? Do they have any champions? How long they've, you know, like I said, how long have they been breeding? And how many generations? How many generations have they created? And that's not necessarily true. There's people that are good breeders that have just started several years ago, and they're producing some phenomenal dogs. But it gives you a basic idea of, you know, gives you a basic idea of where they're at and where they're going, what their objective is for breeding. If they're just somebody that's just breeding, also ask them how many breedings a year do they have. You know, if they tell you, oh, I got litters all the time, catch me on my next one. I do like 5 or 6 breeds. Well, then you know. I mean, it's not somebody you really want to do business with. You know, also ask if they health guarantee their dogs. I health guarantee all my dogs. There's a contract. All my dogs come with a guarantee. So these are things you want to ask, you know, a breeder when considering purchasing a dog from them.
Also, there's things that you don't want to ask, you just want to watch for. Right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to break it down. We're going to go deep into this now. If you're looking at a breeder for a dog, and you go on his page or her page, and you don't see any pictures of themselves, all the pictures, their heads are cut off, you know, they got 3 pictures of the dog, you got to know that there's a chance that if you don't do a hand-to-hand transaction with this person, you might get robbed because you don't even know who they are. All you going off of is a Facebook name.
Yep.
You want to make sure they got a lot of pictures, a lot of videos on their page of their dogs and themselves. You want to make sure when you talk to this person that they're not just only interested in selling you something and trying to get money out of you, that they actually don't mind having a conversation with you. You want to make sure they don't have a problem with sending you however many pictures you want, as long as you're not being ridiculous, or video. If a person has a problem with taking 10 minutes, 5 minutes out of their time to send you a couple pictures, and you're about to spend a couple $1,000s, a few $1,000s with them, then take your business elsewhere. You want to make sure that that person is going to be available to you after you buy the puppy. Not just take your money, and if you're not spending any more money, now you're on your own. Because I have people do that all the time. They go and buy dogs from people. Something's wrong with the dog is sick, and they calling me. Because the person that they bought the dog from don't want nothing to do with them unless they spending money. So there's a lot of things. It's just common sense that you just got to use when you're buying anything. When you go on eBay, you don't just click on the first thing you see. You want to see what their rating is. You want to see how many items they've sold and how many complaints they got and the reviews and all that. It's the same thing with the dog. I tell people all the time, hit anybody else that got dogs from me. I don't mind. I'm not gonna be upset if you go asking questions about me because I don't got nothing to hide. Tony, you want to touch that or are you frozen?
I mean, I'm still with that. I mean, you're absolutely, correct. Sometimes all you have to do is just listen, let them talk, and see, like I said, see what their motive is. For selling you a pup. Some people will pressure you to send them a deposit right away. Right away. For me, the thing I get the most is people love the fact that I take the time and talk to them and just explain everything and go over every aspect of myself and my program. And I always get compliments. I always get, you know what, you're the only breeder that we talk to that actually just took the time without trying to pressure us into buying anything and just answered all our questions and just talked to us. And that goes a long way. So that's what you want to look for. You want to look for somebody that's going to, it's just not out to just take your money, man. It just really has the best interest of their dogs.
Next question is, I don't know if you have this handy, Lawrence, but they want to see if you can pull up a picture of Frenchie angulation versus American Bully angulation in structure.
We're not Frenchie breeders. We can't, without going and doing research on the red Frenchie proper structure, ear set, all that stuff. I don't know nothing about Frenchies. I don't breed Frenchies, and I'm not gonna pretend I know.
I mean, you could find a side shot or whatever. That's something we probably have to prepare for. But I mean, you could find a champion Frenchie and look for like Google a side shot or something, and then put. But I mean, who has time to do that during a show? I mean, you would have to find both breeds and find a good specimen American Bully size shot and a good specimen Frenchie size shot. So.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna look for one though, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, let's move on, and you just look on while the show goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, with the fluctuating market, I guess is what they're trying to say, of the American Bully. Do you guys think it's going to either top out or bottom out anytime soon as far as price, or do you think it'll always be a healthy market as long as the breed is continuing to evolve and improve?
I mean, I don't think it's a healthy market now. Only certain people are doing good. I think the market is flooded. You got a lot of just subpar dogs. I mean, a lot of shitty quality dogs. But I mean, I see guys all the time on my Facebook that I'm friends with. And they talk about they're for the breed, but they're producing dogs. They're just 3-4 litters already. In a matter of a couple months, they're producing dogs that are they look like chihuahuas. They're just really lacking breed type. They're just not very good specimens, and these guys continue to breed and talk about that they're for the breed. So the market is flooded. The market is flooded. If so many people, in our breed especially, just no one has any kind of ethics, man. It's just a crowd that it brings in, and it's sad.
This here, now I went on. I typed in.
I can't even see anything.
I typed in champion French Bulldog. I don't know anything about French Bulldogs. I couldn't tell you if this is correct or not, but this is a champion French Bulldog.
Well, I would love to go over it, but I can't even see anything. So.
I mean, we can cover that next time. We'll do that. I got something in mind, so we'll get into that. But like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know anything about French Bulldogs because I don't, other than what they look like.
You don't really have to know a lot about them. Well, it's just I think what they're wanting to see is just a comparison.
Well, I mean, what's the point? Excuse me. What's the point of comparing the two breeds? The structure and the build and the standard is not the same. I don't understand what the point would be of comparing the two breeds anyway.
I don't know, just maybe if someone just has this curiosity of, they just don't know what proper angulation is for the American
But the
Bully?
angulation requirements for a French Bulldog is not like what they require for.
It's definitely not. They move completely different, you know? They have a rolling gait, so, I mean, it's just
And
completely different.
also, it's part of the breed to have that roach back, even with the English Bulldog. So,
Yeah, that's why they move the way they do.
go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question is: Is it common at dog shows for things like dog aggression and things like that to be looked over, and the dog still judged? She said I witnessed something similar at a show a few weeks ago where the dog was clearly dog aggressive. Had the owner basically had to hold him and prevent him from moving at all in the ring, and he still was judged. Was not told to leave the ring.
Yeah, well, that's not something that's, that's not something we disqualify for. Human aggression, yes, but dog aggression is accepted. It's not something that we want in the breed, but we know that sometimes we're going to encounter it, and the dog aggression and human aggression are just completely different. So, the dog aggression is tolerated, even though it's not something we want in the breed, but it is tolerated. So there's nothing, unless the dog is going absolute ape shit and going just acting a complete fool, then, maybe, I personally would ask the person to, I would excuse the person and the dog.
I've seen dog aggression. I mean, people aggression at shows. I mean, you remember we was at a show in Jersey.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
You remember that show in Jersey where that dog tore that guy's arms up, and nobody wanted to talk about it. And when Caesar got bit in the stomach, everybody wanted to hide it from everybody when it happened. So.
Yeah. There was another judge that was just bit a couple weeks ago. It happens. A lot of it's the fault of the owner, man, and how they raise the dogs.
Some of it is genetic, though. It's not just how you raise the dog.
It is genetic. I'm a believer. I'm a believer with that. Everything goes to genetics, but some behavior is something that the dog has learned, has been allowed to do, and are things that can be corrected. But the stuff in Jersey, that was just an owner that didn't know how to handle a dog, like usual. They got into a fight with another dog. The owner tried to break it up, and he stuck his arm in the front of the thing. And the dog needed another. Yeah.
Between the two dogs, and the other dog grabbed his arm, and then his hand and went to push him over, and he grabbed his other arm. So he tore all his arms up. That was dumb. Like, before he got bit, I already knew he was going to get bit. So that's someone reach around like that. And you saw the way he was holding the dog up, pulling the dog up and backwards. That makes the dog drive forward when you do that.
In the bedroom, more.
Go ahead, Damien. We almost out of here. We got 4 minutes.
Okay, it says, have you guys ever thought about doing a do's and don'ts videos for in-the-ring behavior? It seems like you guys have a lot of experience and knowledge, and it definitely should be shared within the bully community.
That's a good idea.
We can do that. We can definitely do that.
And to piggyback, I know Tony just had pups. They want to know any upcoming litters you guys have. And Tony, I guess this is specifically for you because Lawrence is the king of promotion. What do you do to promote your breed? I mean, what do you do to promote your pups when it's time to sell pups, Tony?
I mean, I don't do a whole lot of promotion. I mean, I do videos for people, but I don't do a lot of promotion. I guess it just depends, but most of the time, man, there's already a lot of people that are waiting. For me, my clientele are very picky. The people that just have done their research. They know they want a good quality dog. They don't want nothing less, So I have a lot of people that are just waiting ahead of time. So I don't really do a whole lot of promoting. Plus, I keep stuff off of every litter, so I only have, a few available usually. And that's about it. What I'm waiting on, I'm really excited. I got a breeding that I think is going to be out of this world. I have my Bobby Peru dog, who's young, but I feel that he has everything. I'm going to show him here coming soon, and I'm certain he'll be a grand champion. And he's got everything I'm looking for. He's just a phenomenal specimen all around. And I bred him to my female Patsy, and I'm expecting that. She looks pregnant. But we'll see. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
I did balls to Lingo's mother. I'm waiting on that. I'm really excited to see what those puppies gonna turn out like. And then I got a collaboration I'm doing with Jen from PBK. I have her 12-inch, real 12-inch, not the 15-inch 12-inch. A real 12-inch bitch downstairs that's related to Sadie and Gaga and Lingo and all of them. That I'm taking a Phantom, who's 13 and 5/8 inches tall. So that's gonna be little mini Jones. I'm really excited. That's a collaboration, so I don't think I'm gonna have anything available of that litter. But Jen might. I'm not sure how many puppies she can hold because she's so small. I'm excited about that, but I'm definitely excited about my dual champion boss hog litter I got coming up. Got a couple things working in the background. Don't like to speak too soon. And it's 11 o'clock. We cut it. We'll be back. I think next week.
I mean, are there any questions, Lawrence? Are there any questions that are still there? Like, at least we get through.
Damien.
I got a couple repeat questions.
We don't want to do no repeats. Sorry, I ain't no disrespecting nobody, but.
Yeah, the only other question I have is not even a real question, so nah.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Next week we're gonna change the day. I'm gonna talk to Tony this weekend. We're gonna figure out we're gonna change the day. So once he gets his ass up here, we'll do the video. We'll get the commercial out. We'll do a new banner, and we'll do a new day. That way the guests will be more flexible. Because Friday nobody really wants to sit and do this on Friday, except us, because we dedicated. So we're gonna pick a new day. We're gonna get everything squared away. Like I said, always we appreciate everybody that tunes in with us, hang out with us. Damien, always I appreciate you. I know you got a lot going on with your medical issues and all that, so I appreciate you hanging out with us and putting in work. Tony, you got anything you want to say?
I just want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for always coming correct with the good questions. And see you next week.
Okay. All right, with that, we out of here, man. Episode 17, Bully Roundtable. We're going to try to get the guest situation straight so, we don't bore y'all, but we got to change the day. Friday's not going to be a good day for us. So even with the doc said she could come on, but she can't really come on Friday. So we'll change the day. We out of here. We'll be back next week, Wednesday. Spielberg, if you're watching, let me know what day you on so we're not bumping heads. I'll get with you anyway if I don't hear nothing. And we'll take care of it. We out of here.